Speaking of John Kerry, so he was speaking to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee yesterday, explaining why we have to go to war, and he made a minor gaffe.
Would you tell us whether you believe that a prohibition for having American boots on the ground, is that something that the administration would accept as part of a resolution?
Mr. Chairman, it would be preferable not to, not because there's any intention or any plan or any desire whatsoever to have boots on the ground. Now, I think the President will give you every assurance in the world, as am I, as the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman. But in the event Syria imploded, for instance, or in the event there was a threat of a chemical weapons cache falling into the hands of al-Nusra or someone else, and it was clearly in the interests of our allies and all of us, the British, the French, and others, to prevent those weapons of mass destruction falling into the hands of the worst elements. I don't want to take off the table an option that might or might not be available to a President of the United States to secure our country.
Okay, so he clearly accidentally told the truth. That is the truth. They can't guarantee if something goes down that we might have to put troops on the ground. He later said that it was a hypothetical question and he was thinking out loud. I'm for, generally you should think in your head and speak out loud, but, it's a big thing there. Okay, so is that the next step, is what you're saying, is that we start this thing, and even if it's just about bombing some empty buildings, we don't know what's going to happen. Syria could attack Turkey, they could attack Israel, then they have to respond, and then yada, yada, yada. World War III.
If there's a possibility that things don't go well.
Can you imagine?
I mean,
What do you make, Ben, about about Kerry's that's a complete and utter gaffe, right? Like, didn't they pound it into his head, whatever you do, don't say boots on the ground?
You said it right at the first time. It's a complete and utter gaffe, but it's true, so I like it.
Yeah, it is true.
I'm glad he said it, because of course it's true. It's also true if we don't bomb.
Yeah.
The fact is, bombing may make the chemical, I don't know whether the chemical weapons stash are more or less likely to get into the hands of, so we have to consider, as what we didn't do in Iraq very clearly, and I just got back from the Telluride Film Festival and I saw Errol Morris's documentary with Don Rumsfeld, The Known Unknown, where it's really, or it's either The Known Unknown or The Known, Unknown. Right, but he, and what we didn't do was look past stage 2. Yeah. We're like, we'll win easy, they'll throw roses on our feet, and then we'll just get out. Yeah. We'll set up a bunch of permanent bases, and we'll take their oil. Yeah. Great, what could go wrong?
Right.
So, I mean, what Kerry is saying could happen now, and could the wrong weapons fall into the wrong hands, or stay in Assad's hands, and he attacks Turkey, or Israel is brought in some way if somebody else of course that could happen, and then we're going to put boots on the ground, right?
Yeah. So, all right, so final thought on this. Do you guys see this as inevitable? As we sit here right now, are we absolutely going to war in 2 weeks from now?
Well, that's also essentially what Kerry was saying. It was so interesting. It was like, well, if Congress decides not to support the president's plan, then what happens? Right. And he was essentially saying, well, you're gonna. Yeah. It's gonna happen. There's
so
no
does Obama look like the biggest schmuck ever if we don't go to war? Because now they've laid out the case. So if Congress votes no, doesn't Obama have to do it anyway, just for that same hubris that you were making fun of before?
Who does he look like a schmuck to?
To the Army guys? I think they care about what the Army guys think.
I do, but I mean, so look like a schmuck. I mean, look, if it's wrong, I don't, and maybe not, the soldier who chooses not to fight is arguably the bravest soldier of them all, to totally bastardize Bob Dylan's line and Bruce Springsteen's adaptation of it. But so I don't know. I mean, look, if it's the right thing to do, if there's a plan that could really hurt Assad with the 41 days of precision bombing, then I don't know that it's the worst thing in the world. And I think that you'd probably turn a lot of the country around, but nobody quite believes that plan is even possibly in existence, right? Yeah. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah.
All right, well, obviously the story is going to keep unfolding. Stay abreast with Nancy Pelosi's grandson. And also I was watching CNN yesterday, and Wolf Blitzer asked one of the guests, why haven't the Americans cared about this for 2 years? And maybe, Wolf, it's because you guys have completely ignored it. Okay.